Shiny Pokemon are something special in the Pokemon world. Some shiny Pokemon are striking and memorable, while others are not. But what makes a shiny Pokemon someone's favorite? Is it their rarity? The process of looking for them? To help figure this out, I decided to do a follow-up to my original favorite Pokemon poll, where I had nearly 40,000 people tell me their favorite Pokemon overall. So I wanted to test whether shiny Pokemon would reflect the same results or be totally different. I posted a second poll on TikTok asking people to tell me their favorite Pokemon, but this time with a focus on shiny Pokemon. We're exploring what changed, what stayed the same, and what our shiny Pokemon preferences say about us. Thank you to the sponsor of this video, myself. I don't have a sponsor, but if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe, like, and share this with anyone who knows anything about Pokemon, which is probably everyone you know. To collect the data, I used the same approach as my original poll, manually scraping TikTok comments using a tool that only allowed me to load 50 comments at a time. I gathered comments until I reached the almost 11,000 I received. Last time, it took about 2.5 hours to reach 40,000 comments, so this time went a lot faster. And I live streamed the process, so it was fun getting to talk to people who participated. Like last time, Pokemon that had alternate forms like Mega Evolutions, Gigantamax forms, or gender differences were grouped together with their base species for simplicity. Regional forms such as Alolan Meowth and Galarian Meowth were counted separately, as that's what I also did last time, because I believe they deserve to be treated as their own Pokemon. Of course, any self-reported survey like this has its limitations. Self-selection bias means that only people who saw the video and were motivated to comment were counted. There's also survivorship bias, which in this case means that Pokemon with more media attention, merchandise, or presence in games like Go and Scarlet and Violet are more likely to be at top of mind. Response bias also makes an appearance in this poll, with some people mentioning shiny Pokemon they personally hunted for rather than their favorite designs. Still, this survey approach gives us a look into Shiny's specific fan favorites. Compared to the original poll, which had almost 40,000 participants, this one had only a little over 10,000. But don't underestimate that number, because in data science, 10,000 is still a really good sample. I noticed a good number of return voters, which speaks to the strength of community building around these types of conversations. This also connects to a broader point about representation. When you don't participate, your opinion isn't reflected, whether it's something silly like this Pokemon fan poll or something serious like expressing your needs for accessibility options in video games. Silence means you're invisible. So if you want to be reflected or your voice to be heard, you have to participate and use your voice. If you'd like to check out the spreadsheet and see the representation of this poll, you can find the link to it in the description. I was surprised again to see that this poll brought in people from all over the world, and I again learned what Pokemon were known as in different languages. Interestingly, most of these were in German this time. Some standouts included Vanillite, who's called Gelatini in German, Greninja is known as Quajutsu in German, and Gudra is known as Muplodocus in French. These responses weren't counted automatically and had to be manually matched, which I still appreciated because I love learning about how global the Pokemon community is. It also adds another layer of nostalgia and identity, because your favorite Pokemon might not be tied to how cool it is, but the culture you grew up in. Responses again were funny, insightful, and touching. Arrow Watson said, "I know someone has already said Charizard, but I prefer the original shiny Charizard more," which is a great point, because shiny Charizard was originally purple when shiny Pokemon were introduced in Gold and Silver. This also raises an interesting question. When shiny colors change across generations, does that affect how we remember them? A comment from Hazel Raven 23 says, "Shiny Shuckle. I have the best memory shiny hunting Shuckle in Pokemon Go with my husband early on in our relationship." That kind of comment draws upon how emotional memories can influence preference in powerful ways. It's also a good example of confirmation bias, where someone might lean towards a shiny Pokemon if it represents a personal victory or a special time in our life. And Kimin summed it up perfectly by saying, "Shiny Toucanon is a bi icon. Some shiny Pokemon just speak to us and serve as representatives for certain communities, like Sylveon being a trans icon. Out of a total of 10,110 votes, here are the top 10. Gengar ranked 10 with 96 votes, Charizard ranked 9 with 102 votes, Gardevoir ranked 8 with 109 votes, Mew ranked 7 with 111 votes, Greninja ranked 6 with 112 votes, Psyduck ranked 5 with 144 votes, Espeon ranked 4 with 202 votes, Rayquaza ranked 3 with 228 votes. Sylveon ranked 2 with 302 votes, and Umbreon ranked 1 with 366 votes. While Umbreon didn't make the overall top 10 favorite Pokemon last time, its shiny form clearly resonates, likely due to the striking contrast of blue rings replacing the usual yellow, offering a subtle, sleek elegance that many fans interpret as cool, mysterious, or even edgy in a good way. Its color shift is memorable and widely beloved, and it's a great example of the von Restorff effect in action, which explains things that stand out are easier to remember and more likely to be favored. Pokemon like Sylveon and Psyduck saw spots in the top 10 in the last poll, and so did Gengar, which is interesting because its standard shiny is notoriously underwhelming and barely distinguishable from its normal form. However, comments specifically included a mention of Gengar's Mega Evolution, which turns a ghostly white. This would suggest that when it comes to shiny popularity, fans often reference the most distinctive form even if it's not the default shiny. And then there's Charizard, who ranked pretty low in the last poll, seemingly due to response bias, but its shiny form appears to have redeemed it, proving aesthetics can shift even divisive Pokemon into a fan favorite. Looking deeper into trends, here's where specific Pokemon ranked in specific categories. Most popular type, water; least popular type, flying; most popular starter, Mudkip; least popular starter, Froakie and Quaxly; most popular fully evolved starter, Greninja; least popular fully evolved starter, Quaquaval; most popular fossil, Tyrantrum; least popular fossil, Omastar, Cranidos, Shieldon, Bastiodon, Tortuga, Archeops, and Arctovish; most popular legendary, Rayquaza; least popular legendary, Cosmog, Eternatus, Calyrex, Ogerpon, and Terrapagos; most popular mythical, Mew; least popular mythical, Fione, Manaphy, Zarude, and Pecharunt; most popular pseudo-legendary, Metagross; least popular pseudo-legendary, Baxcalibur; most popular Ultra Beast, Blacephalon; and least popular Ultra Beast, Stakataka. Water types once again dominated, just like in the previous poll. Pokemon like Greninja, Psyduck, and Mudkip contributed heavily to these results, indicating that water types often receive standout shiny forms, frequently involving cool blues or purples that enhance their appeal. On the opposite end, flying types remained the least popular, possibly indicating that many bird Pokemon are forgettable or fail to leave a lasting impression in either form. It also needs to be mentioned that not every type has equal representation across the available Pokemon, so this may be a factor in the results because there are more water Pokemon than any other type. The Pokemon type with the least amount of Pokemon is Ice type though, so I'll leave that for your own interpretation. Some of my favorites showed up in surprising places. Tyrantrum ranked 54 with 44 votes. Furret came in 20th place with 74 votes. Shuckle landed at 51 with 46 votes. Then there's Pokemon like Caterpie, who had 7 votes, Druddigon with 5, and Rellor with only 4 votes. They were all towards the bottom of the rankings, but it's okay because I'm glad they received some representation. Let me know in the comments if you also like any of these Pokemon. One major difference from the original poll is how many Pokemon received 1 or 0 votes. There were 167 Pokemon that received only 1 vote and 235 Pokemon that received 0. Pokemon that received 0 votes last time, like Spearow or Tapu Bulu, did receive representation this time. From a psychological perspective, this could also relate to the von Restorff effect. Confirmation bias also plays a role here. If you've spent hours hunting for a shiny Pokemon, you're more likely to say it's your favorite even if its design is mediocre. Emotional labor turns into emotional attachment. So what did we learn from the shiny Pokemon poll? While some favorites like Sylveon stayed consistent and proved their lasting popularity, Some favorites showed us how design, rarity, and personal memories influence which shiny Pokemon we treasure. Pokemon like Rayquaza climbed the ranks thanks to their bold, high-contrast design, while the number of Pokemon receiving 0 or just 1 vote highlights how shiny Pokemon preferences tend to be more specific, more visual, and sometimes more personal than general favorites. This project wasn't just about numbers, it was to have fun and have a discussion about beauty, how we attach meaning to moments, and how we express our individuality in a world where there's over 1,000 Pokemon to choose from. So whether your favorite shiny Pokemon is a battle-tested legend or a blue duck that makes you smile, it still says something about you and it's worth celebrating. If you participated in either poll, thank you for making your voice heard and trusting me to deliver this. If you didn't participate, consider this your invitation to join me. Let me know in the comments which shiny Pokemon mean the most to you, and if you want to see more deep dives like this, whether it's on Pokemon or some other fandom, be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, and remember to keep loving what you love.